Okay, we're going to be looking at a few of the problems on today's lesson. Make sure everybody knows how to do this. For our greatest common factor, you're looking for a number that divides into both of those. In this case, the only thing that will divide into 5 and 3 is a 1. I'm also looking for the lowest power of each variable. So my only variable is x. The lowest power of x is an x to the first, or a plain x there. So I'm basically going to divide each of these by the 1x. When I do that, I'm going to have my 1x in front, and then 5 divided by 1 is 5, x divided by x cancels, and then it's going to be plus, 3 divided by 1 is 3, and x squared divided by x, the x reduces down to an x. So that should be your answer, and we get credit for that one, and we'll try another one. On this one, you notice you might want to try to divide out a number. The biggest number that'll divide into 4 and to 10 is 2. By the way, the number you divide out is never going to be any larger than 4, but in this case 4 won't divide evenly into 10. So I'm going to have a 2, and then I cannot divide out an x because the second term doesn't have an x. So 4x divided by 2 is 2x. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So that should give you the gist on how to work these problems on greatest common factor. Now on this next section, it is on the x game. The x game, you're basically trying to multiply to make this top number and add to make this bottom number. This is kind of a warm-up for some problems we're going to be doing next week. So you think of numbers that multiply to 42. So one thing that might come to mind is 2 times 21 would multiply to 42, but it would not add to 13. You might realize that 6 divides into 42 though. 6 and 7 are the numbers you look for. And in this case, you're going to put a 6 there and a 7 there. And then that's what you get on this one. And I think this first section is going to be mostly stuff like this. This one, like you might think, oh, 40, that's 8 times 5. But 8 and 5 would make 13, not 14. So you think of something else, 4 and 10, and then that's going to make 14. So that's how you do this. You might have to list out different numbers that multiply to it on your paper, but eventually you should find the one you're looking for. And it does not matter if you put 4 and 10 or 10 and 4, it'll count it right either way. The last section we're going to look at is more of the x game, but on this one, it's going to have some negatives involved. Now, the difference with the negatives is if I'm multiplying to make a negative, I'm going to have one number that's negative and one number that's positive. So a negative times a positive. And in this case, I'm going to need numbers that add to make a negative 1. Since I'm adding to make a negative number, I know my larger number is going to have to be negative. In this case, first thing that comes to mind for 56 is 8 and 7. So if I make my larger number the 8 a negative, I can see a negative 8 and a 7 would add to a negative 1, and that's exactly what I need. So when you go to put your answer in, it's just going to be a negative 8 and a 7. Just to drive this home, though, if that would have been a positive 1 down at the bottom, then if I would have made my bigger number positive, a positive 8 times a negative 7 will be equal to positive 1. So that gives you an idea on how to do these. We'll try another one. On this problem here, I'm trying to multiply to 8. So some things that multiply to 8 would be 4 and 2. And you can see in this case, I'm adding to make a negative 6. Well, since I'm multiplying to make a positive and adding to get a negative, both ones are going to have to be a negative, because if I have a positive 4 and a positive 2, that would give me a positive 6, but a negative times a negative would still be a positive 8, and then negative 4 plus negative 2 would be negative 6. So that's going to give me my answers there. And then I'm going to come up with my values of negative 4 and negative 2. So hopefully this will help you understand how to do these problems. Just a good arithmetic review and getting us ready to do some factoring.